is going on with CLD now is that we have just launched a new collection, which is our resort collection. Second resort collection and 6th collection in total. So since we've launched till now, 6 collections in total. And it is called the Lala collection. It was inspired by and named after one of my clients, Lala Bechu. And basically it's a series that we want to do. We want to not just create a legacy for CLD, but we want to create a legacy for these women of Trinidad and Tobago, regular, beautiful, ordinary women who are extraordinary in their own rights.
So why you name it after her?
She inspired me. Lala was the one who inspired me. Every time, that's one question that I keep getting all the time. Why Lala? Why not anybody else? Now Lala for me represents the hallmark of CLD. She's a very strong, independent woman, very confident, very sexy, but in a subtle way. So basically she is for me the CLD woman, you know, she's the ideal CLD woman. But and not that she's the only CLD, there are a lot of women that I see that in, that I relate to my brand, you know. But what struck me about Lala, she tugged at a little heartstring. Every time I met Lala and every time Lala came to the boutique, she was always here with her husband and her children. And that struck me. I said, okay, this is somebody I emulate to be when I grow up. You know, like having that balance, to create a balanced life, especially nowadays, is so difficult. And I saw that in this woman, and I really was inspired by her, and I felt like I wanted to dedicate this to her.
How did she take it?
Oh, she was so honored. She was so honored. In 2000, maybe, that is when I really realized that I wanted to do designing. Like I realized that was my passion, because I had always loved fashion and I was always good at sketching and painting and art, that kind of thing. And that was in India, because I am from India. So after I finished my A-levels here, I went back to India to study. And I realized through one of my aunts, she has a boutique as well. And you know, like that's when I realized I could merge my both loves, and this is what I really want to do. I didn't have the formal training. Like I did a short course while I was there in India, which was an introduction to fashion design. But to say a formal training and like really get the know-how of the industry, I was totally lost. At that time, UTT never offered anything here, any of these courses that they have now, you know, designing courses. So the only way that I could be involved in still what I love was through retail. So for the past 14 years, I've been in retail. I have a store in Princestown. So I've been in retail. 2010 is when I felt like everything was settled in my life, that I could take time out from that business and pick up myself and go really pursue what it is I wanted to do. That's when I went to London, to LCF. So I pursued a course there in fashion design and marketing. I got back end of 2011, and since then, well, I was just preparing, you know, putting things into place, and that was 2011. 2013 we launched. So for 2 years there was a lot of preparation going on, you know, behind the scenes to make it happen. And I launched in November 2013, and April of 2014 we opened our doors to the public, CLD boutique here. I myself, I was so surprised of the response that I got, you know, from stakeholders in the industry, from fashionistas, you know, anybody who's involved, from other designers as well. I was so surprised. I think they appreciated my work. Like I heard one fashion blogger say this is the first time that they've seen, actually it was another designer said this is the first time that they've seen a collection walk down the catwalk in Trinidad. And yeah, I guess it really was because of my work.
And that approach was from the training itself?
That approach, I will tell you what, that approach was not only from my training that I got. My 14 years experience at that time would have been 12 years of experience in retail, helped me a lot. until today I say that, like, because I was very clear cut that I wanted, fashion is a business. People don't realize that in Trinidad. Fashion is a business. And I was clear cut that I wanted to create a lucrative business out of this, not just send down creativity down the runway and then nothing comes of it after. I was clear cut that I wanted a market. I wanted to see women in my clothes, you know. So from the beginning, that was my mindset. I want to create a business out of this. I'm going to make wearable, sellable clothing. I have been in retail for so long, so if I want to sell something that is mass produced or something at a cheaper price level, I will do that in my retail outlet. This was not meant to be that. This was meant to give the exclusivity to my clients. This was meant to give the experience, the whole experience of a designer wear, of being exclusive, of standing out in a crowd, of feeling exactly what a woman should. And every woman wants to look their best and feel their best. And that is what CLD does. That's what we provide our clients. Now, I've launched, it's not even a year and a half, it's less than a year and a half, or maybe a year and a half. And within that time, I've showcased throughout the region, as in throughout the Caribbean. I've done New York Fashion Week twice, but that was a fashion gallery, New York Fashion Week. Through that, through my last showing there and networking process and all that, I created links with some people from Spain, and I've been asked to do Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week in Amsterdam in July. That's July. So that's a huge, this is the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. It's not a side show, it is the show. So yeah, that's amazing. Exciting, yes. I'm usually a very straightforward person. Sometimes a loner. I have a very few close group of friends, you know, maybe, but I'm very headstrong and very goal driven, you know. I know what I want and I just go for it, you know. Sometimes it does not turn out to be what I plan or hope for, but at least I can say, you know, this is what I want to do, and I did it, and yeah, it was good, or yeah, okay, it didn't work out, so start again, you know. I don't know, I'm very open, very down to earth. I would say humble. I don't know, but I would say humble. I'm very close to people, few people, but those people who are close to my heart, like, I'll go all out for them, you know. Family and you know, that kind of thing, family, friends, those connections mean a lot to me, a lot. And I guess that's one of the reasons that Lala inspired me, and I decided to dedicate a collection to her. I never feel like I had the best time then and that time was better. I think as I grow older, and like, I've experienced so much in life. I've been to so many places, and I have to say I love Trinidad. Home is home. Back then, when I was in London, I used to say that was the hardest time for me. I used to think that was so tough because I was working and going to school, and that too, I left a life of luxury here to go live a different kind of student life there. You know, it was, you see, if you go from here to here, it's fine, but when you go from there to here, it is so difficult to adjust. And yeah, back then I used to cry all the time. I want to go home. I used to pray and ask God if this was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life, because it was really a trying time, and I felt like it was like so many struggles within that time. And but now when I look back, I was like, it wasn't bad, you know. It made me appreciate so much more. And I mean, I could never do any of this if I was not there, if I did not have that experience, you know. And I've never worked for anybody in my life, and that was the first time that I did that. And the first day I went to work, they sent me to clean the toilet, and I'm cleaning the toilet bowl, and I'm looking up crying, and I said, God, is this the biggest mistake that I've ever made in my life? Because I had to fight to leave here in the first place. My mother and father never wanted me to go. You leaving everything to go to London to study fashion, not law or medicine or anything, fashion. Like, he couldn't comprehend that, you know. So I had to struggle and fight with them and argue with them and try to prove my point and whatever. And that, at that point when all that was going on in London, I used to feel like they were right and like I made a wrong choice, you know. Yeah, but I guess I didn't. I've learned everything that I know through him and my mother, you know, like my morals and values and all that, I mean, it's because of them. It's how they brought me up and it's how I grew up seeing them. And I remember one time I bring home a pencil and you know, my mother said, "This is not yours." I said, "My friend gave it to me." My dad said to me, "Give it back," because anytime anybody give you anything, they expect something in return. That's something I'll never forget. Yeah. So yeah, I am who I am because of them, you know, because of how they brought me up to be. You know, like I always say, even my mom says it now, like how daddy never wanted me to go to London. And now when he see like newspaper articles and stuff, you know, she said he'll always smile. You know, I've done so many shows all over and whatever, but one moment I am still so proud of, and I feel like nothing could surpass that. I don't know why, I just feel like it's such an honor when the Prime Minister wore CLD piece to the Masquerade event when Vogue Italia was here, when they had that. Yeah, that's something, like, even after that I showcased at New York Fashion Week and all that, and it wasn't, like, that joy was, I think is such an honor. Prime Minister of your country. We don't look at it as a big thing because Trinidad is a small place, but the Prime Minister of a country wearing a certain designer who just started, that's huge. That's huge. You know, one thing I've learned is to have patience. I've adapted that. I still have a long way to go, but patience.
With people or situations?
Everything. I've
So
that's
don't try
what.
to push it.
No.
I've recently learned that.
Yeah. And nothing happens before its time. That saying is so true. Nothing happens before its time. And I also believe what is meant for you is meant for you. You know? If it's not meant for you, you could fight how much and work how hard. If it's not meant for you, it's not gonna be, you know. But that's just my personal philosophy. Like, that's something I always tell myself. I believe that.
Yeah.
And funny enough, this might sound a little silly, but I think you need to have that little dash of luck. Yeah, some people work so hard, but they don't, you know, make it to the top. And I'm not talking about only in the fashion industry, I'm talking generally in life. There's so many hard workers, but they don't really accomplish everything that they want and all that. It's I don't know. Again, I guess it comes back down to if it's meant to you. If it's meant for you, then if you want something, you can't sit down and wait for funding. You go and do what you have to do. If you have to go to the bank, apply for a loan, that's how I started. Nobody gave me anything. I started off on my own. You know, I went to small business, in those days it was Small Business Development Bank. I did funny enough, this is after I came back from India, right? I had Indian clothes and jewelry and that kind of thing. And I had learned to do henna and bridal makeup. I did plenty little courses and stuff when I was there. So one of my friends said to me, because I was working at that time, I was working in Princestown Regional Corporation because my father was a counselor there. So I was working there right after I got back from India, and she said, you know, they have this thing called Diwali Nagar, you should have a booth there. So I found out about it. I rented a booth. I lied to my parents and said it was half the cost of what it actually was because I took my salary and rented the booth. 9 nights I'm doing henna and threading and selling my little Indian stuff and whatever. I make 30-something thousand in 9 nights, you know. And what it costs, $6,000 to rent a booth. Like, you have to be able to do things on your own. That's how I started off. I was amazed. I was like, wow, this is what I should do. you know, I went back to India again. I got more merchandise. This time I print cards and whatever. Next year I took a booth. I did double the amount. I took that money. I went to BDC. I said, hey, what I want a loan. My first loan was for $100,000. I did a business business plan, all these. I got my loan and I started up my little store. You know, and it grew and grew and grew and grew, and here I am. I feel if you want something, you have to go out and do whatever it takes to make it work. To reach your goal or your aim, or, you know, don't sit down and wait for anything. It'll never happen. That's just my take on it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's just my take on it. That's how I started. No regrets. I really don't have regrets. Yeah, some choices of mine, I could have made better choices in life, but no regrets, because everything has taught me something or the other. I think I came out a better person in the end, and I am where I am today because of all my experiences that I have gone through, you know, and I still have far to go. I truly do believe that, you know. Oh God, I don't know. I have no clue. Because I cannot imagine myself doing anything else. I really can't. And I hope that this grows and grows, and I work, and I don't like to say I'm a workaholic, because I like my little free time. I like time to myself. But I want to work down to the last. Yeah. You know what? I think when Lala said to me that she's so honored, I think because to give that kind of what's the word? I don't know what is the word. But it's like you're doing something so out of the ordinary for somebody, and when they appreciate that, I mean the feeling that you get from that appreciation that is shown to you, that is oh my God, that's beyond oh my God, you know. So because you do things and I am a very giving person. I am very giving and very kind-hearted. They always say self-praise is no praise, but I am like that. But you know, when somebody really appreciates you and shows you that appreciation, that's an amazing feeling. That's the oh my God moment. Yeah.